So the Mark IID is Strinking's third head offering, and this time it caters to close defensemen and long stick midfielders. The Mark IID is $90 unstrung and is both high school and NCAA legal. It also comes in the 3 traditional colors, white, black, and gray. Starting with the face shape, it is pretty wide, which is to be expected for a defensive head. Thankfully, it is not as wide as the Brine Triumph and has the same face shape as the STX Hammer 500. Except with the 2D, it has a slightly more aggressive face shape in the lower third of the head. Overall, the 2D has a good face shape for the typical defensive head. It is wide enough to pick off passes, but not so wide that you're going to sacrifice ball control and moving the ball from the defensive side of the field to the offensive side. With the Mark IID, Stringking has placed a heavy focus on the head scoop and ground ball ability. It is still your typical double plane scoop, but it is thick, smooth, and angled very well for getting ground balls. Personally, I thought it was very easy to use on both turf and grass. Also, the extremely aggressive offset gives you a larger angle of attack for ground ball pickup. But if you've been using the same head for the past few years like a Maverick Tank, you might not like it so much. If you have a buddy that owns a Mark IID, then you might want to try it out for yourself before picking one up. Just like the 2V, the throat has cutouts on all sides to reduce weight, and there's only one screw hole. And it also features their new anti-head mechanism, which works pretty good, but I'm not crazy about it. For stringing, there are 6 top string holes, 29 sidewall holes, and 7 bottom string holes. The 6 top string holes are perfectly sized and will fit letters easily. The 29 sidewall holes gives you plenty of options when it comes to stringing mesh pockets, and also these sidewall holes go all the way down to the bottom of the head, which is great. The 7 bottom string holes offers you a lot more options than your typical 4, but just like in the Mark IIV review, I would have preferred the standardized 4 that we saw in the Stringking Mark I. The tallest part of the bottom rail sits in the middle of the head, which means it's going to naturally push for a mid pocket. But with the head's aggressive offset, it screams mid-high pocket. This is great for defensemen because the closer the deepest part of your pocket is to the scoop, the faster you can pick up ground balls and get away from scrums. We also have a Mark IID mid-high pocket stringing tutorial using Stringking Type 3 mesh. Go ahead and click the eye in the top right corner if you'd like to watch it, or there will be a clickable link at the end of the video. The head weighs in at 5.2 ounces or 148 grams. This is very light for a defensive head, and in fact, it's lighter than all the other current defensive head offerings. The Under Armour Judgment, Regulator Max, Maverick Tank, Brine Triumph, and STX Hammer are all heavier than the Stringking Mark IID. The stiffness is very good, definitely not Regulator Max stiff, but it is very consistent with the other defensive head offerings. The lateral or side-to-side stiffness is very good, and the same goes for top to bottom when you try to compress the scoop. The head has 3 struts, just like the rest of the Mark II heads. The struts aren't any thicker on the 2D than 2A and 2V, which is surprising, and also the head comes with some inner coring to make it lighter. For us, the head was pretty durable, and from our uses, I think the 2D would be a better slap check head than a textbook poke and lift check head. The head lost a bit of stiffness over time and in the heat, which is to be expected, but you could definitely use the head for multiple seasons depending on how much abuse you typically put your heads through. Due to the lateral stiffness being excellent, I would not recommend the Mark IID to a dedicated face-off guy. With the bottom rail having a small amount of flex and the head having a very aggressive inverse offset, if you're a seasoned defenseman and you know your way around a long stick, then yes, you can generate some pretty decent power behind your shots. When it comes to the Stringking Mark IID, I consider it an excellent head for certain players. It's a good close head, but an even better LSM head. If you're looking for a straight brick that simply doesn't flex when you're throwing a check, then this isn't the head for you. However, if you're a ground ball vacuum and you're looking for a very light defensive head offering, then the Stringking Mark IID is definitely the head you've been looking for. So that is it for the Stringking Mark IID review. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, be sure to like it, subscribe to our channel, and thanks for watching.